There was a lot of uncertainty, but with anything that's worth doing, it's you just dive into, you just go right into it. Um, the lessons come along the way. Welcome back to the Level Up Life, Muscle and Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Adam. Thank you for tuning in. Today's a special episode. 1 year. 1 year since we've been at this. 1 year since I took the plunge and decided to start a podcast. Why did I start a podcast in the first place? There's so many people out there that have stories that can relate, or our listeners can relate to. And how do you create connection? It's conversation, vulnerability. It's simply connecting with individuals. With that being the goal and something we have already accomplished, I sit back and reflect on my personal journey throughout this, and the amount of growth I've had as an individual. Putting myself out there like this has been enormous. My speaking skills. If you go back, you can certainly see my interviewing skills improve from, episode 2 till now. My ability to conversate, because one thing I struggled with as an individual was my attention span would wane as I was in a conversation. And in the beginning, it was really hard for me to focus in that moment. So this whole experience has helped me become not just on the show, but more present in the moment. The growth I've had as an individual for my speaking skills, I've learned so much about tone, how important a pause can be, how important the emotion behind words can be. The podcast, when I started it, it was 2 podcasts that I was on personally. It was Talk Midland with Logan Ricchetti, which is just over 2 years ago today. I think it's a little over 2 years. And then about a year and a half since I was on the Confident podcast with Lisa Tarkington. And those 2 episodes gave me the courage by putting myself out there to believe in myself. And that's one thing that for everyone, if you have goals, if you have any sort of aspirations in life, if you don't believe in yourself, you can't expect other people to believe in you. And in that situation, Lisa and Logan both believed in me before I even thought this was a possibility. There was a lot of uncertainty, but with anything that's worth doing, it's you just dive into, you just go right into it. The lessons come along the way. So one thing I'm looking forward to as we proceed into season 3 is my evolution, my personal evolution as a podcast host. Not just sharing my story and the dark days, right? But a lot of the little tiny details to what's helped me achieve any sort of success in life, from my recovery to building healthy relationships to creating a business to starting this. All of that's kind of had one common theme, and that's just been diving in, learning as I go. So I know a lot of our guests that we've had on here have a mixed emotions when they're sitting right here. There's excitement, there's fear, there's anxiety, because putting yourself out there and being vulnerable can be really scary. But I know physiologically speaking, excitement and anxiety have the same chemical response in the body. And I like to explain this to people before, because we get to frame it, right? And this goes with a lot of things in life. We can sit back, we can decide, I'm going to be scared, or I'm going to be courageous, or I'm going to allow myself to heal, or any other choice, right? We have the ability to frame those things throughout our lives. The whole journey though, the amount of messages that I've gotten about how this podcast has helped one individual in this moment, those are the reasons why I started this entire thing, because helping one individual in any situation can be very rewarding for myself. But it's also about giving the guests that sit here a platform to share their story and become vulnerable and achieve growth in that process. As long as we're always relating and not trying to compare, like, example would be, and I've seen this in tons of settings, is it could be in the gym. Oh, hey, I just got 225 for 8 reps, man. It's a PR. Oh, yeah, I'm at 315 for 8 now. It's nothing like sharing back to a person once they share something that's personally a goal, achievement for them. It's nothing like crushing their hope, right? So, being able to have people on in various walks of life share their stories is truly the best part of this. I enjoy hearing all the stories, from overcoming cancer to substance abuse to, domestic violence to death of loved ones. And while I feel like all that stuff's really important, I want to evolve for you, our viewers, to where we're not just offering the stories in the process, but we're offering perspective on solutions. Like, how do you pull yourself out? How do you climb out of that dark hole? Who do you know who to trust? How do you know who to trust? All these things. What's the mindset look like behind success? Which Waz and I, we just had an episode that discussed a little bit about that, where, systems, processes, those types of things. Because one thing that I gained from listening to other podcasts was I struggled getting out of bed in the morning. Even with purpose, I struggled. And I listened to Mel Robbins' podcast, and she talked about the 5-second rule. Just a little blip of that episode that's had a tremendous impact on my life. So to share that, she says, as soon as you open your eyes, count down from 5 and imagine yourself as being a rocket. And once you get to 0, you're up, you're out of bed, you're on your feet, you're moving, you're starting your day. That has also, I've been able to apply that to multiple areas in my life. Procrastination, the list goes on. The 5-second rule is a valuable tool. And that's really what I want to get into to share, is those concepts that have helped people change their lives. So having a podcast in general is really scary. There's a lot of, I guess, ups and downs where I personally wonder, is this worth it? I sit back, I think about the mission, I think about our viewers, our listeners, and I question, like, are we really making a difference? Is this worth it? Is this something I should put financial resources into? And then I get a message from someone where they've expressed to me how this episode with this individual really helped them, that they could really relate to it. And it's like, so that's just a example of these ups and downs, but still, not knowing if if any of what we're talking about is truly resonating with people, because the goal is to grow this and make these conversations that we have normal, because I feel like as a society, if we normalized hard conversations, then it would help a lot of people improve their lives significantly. Aside from that, the fitness aspect, like if people included fitness in their life, there's a quote, I can't recall the doctor that actually said the quote, but if you could combine all the benefits of exercise and put it into a pill, the mental health benefits, the physical benefits, the spiritual benefits, all of that, if you could combine all that into a little pill, it'd be the most widely prescribed drug on the planet. And I want more people to embrace that sort of lifestyle, the fitness lifestyle, healthy eating, that type of stuff. So, and I talked about the reality that no one really sees behind the scenes. So from guest recruitment to prep work to posting to all this, it's a lot of work, and it can get pretty dark when in my mind when I don't see the impact, but I have this unwavering belief that we're gonna have a huge impact on people and make a big difference over time, and I'm not gonna give up on that. My confidence level has changed drastically. Some of you may not know this, but even with, some people look at me and say, oh, he's a successful trainer, he's a business owner, he's a podcaster. But if anybody has ever experienced imposter syndrome, you know what this means. Like, I have this balance between I'm good at what I do, but I don't know it all. There's people out there that can do this better, that better, whatever it may be, whatever aspect I'm good at, there's always going to be someone better. And that's just staying humble and having the desire to continue to improve. But to be honest, like, I sit back and I'll think, I get trolled on social media. Someone just recently said, bro can't even talk. And it's in these moments, like, I'm putting myself out there, and I may have a moment where, I'm trying to gather my thoughts, or I'm just pausing, or I stumble, or I say or whatever it may be. And, I think to myself, well, I'm obviously not cut out for this. My drug use has severely damaged my brain, and then it takes me down this rabbit hole of self-doubt, and I'm sure everybody out there can relate. If not, I'm sure there's people that don't relate to this, but you have moments of self-doubt in whatever you're doing. Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I smart enough to do this? Am I strong enough to do this. And I'm no different. I'm a human being. I go through these moments to where I doubt my ability to communicate ideas effectively, to frame sentences like I'd like to. But what it ultimately boils down to is what someone told me long ago. As long as you speak from the heart, you can't do any wrong. And if someone out there in social media land wants to judge me for taking these risks, I challenge them. I challenge you to do something out of your comfort zone that you have zero experience doing, to really put yourself out there and see what happens. See if after that you're still the person that goes and trolls others and puts them down. So I've been in this process of having a podcast. I've learned a lot about myself. I've grown. Even found some healing. In one of the more recent episodes, I talked about the trauma I put my mom through when I was using, and how my body weight, when it fluctuates, it opens up a wound for her if I'm cutting weight or something, where she will get a sense of like, oh no, is Adam using? So I got to communicate that with her. Her and I discussed it, and she's like, doesn't want me to feel bad about it, that, any mother would think like that. And to some extent, the reason I don't anymore is because it's an active change to how I live. I don't put my mom through that stuff anymore. My past did. I'm apologized. I've done everything I could. I don't need to live with that shame anymore. She made it clear to me I don't need to live with that shame anymore. And throughout this process of sharing that on the podcast, her and I were both we were both given the opportunity to heal even further. And as a mother, she's beyond proud of me. Love you, Mom. I know you're listening. Now let's take a moment to thank our sponsors, Pine Haven Assisted Living. At Pine Haven Assisted Living, they believe in making every resident feel at home. Nestled in the peaceful countryside of Hemlock, Michigan, they offer compassionate care in a family-like environment where residents can enjoy independence with the support they need. Registered nurse-owned and operated, their team provides personalized care, home-cooked meals, and a range of activities to ensure your loved ones continue to live a fulfilling life. They also have alpacas and llamas on site to enrich the lives of their residents. Experience the warmth and comfort of Pine Haven. Call them today at 989-295-6632. That's 989-295-6632. Or you can visit them on their website at pinehavenassistedliving.com. That's pinehavenassistedliving.com for more information. Now, back to the Level Up Life. Really been building my discipline, and because adding this to business ownership, it's a lot. Creates a lot of extra work for me, which I take on willingly. This is all worth it for what I believe this show can do, and how many people it can help. I just want to reflect on the last 2 seasons a little bit too, and the amount of stuff people have overcame really inspires me. One in particular is, and maybe this is based from an internal fear of mine, about a sickness that I have no control over. I can't out-train it. I can't, anything like that. But I sat here, and this was early in season 1 with Jimmy Green, and his mindset with overcoming 2 bouts of cancer is just like, and how it's changed him to be a better human is just, that really inspired me. Chief Nicole Ford sat here and discussed her story about losing a child and taking on a job as chief of police. And then in the process, we had a 500-year flood. So when it rains, it pours. And her strength as a human being is really inspiring. Just, I could go on about all of our guests and what I've learned, what I've taken away from the conversations, and just in general, the big picture of what potentially could have impacted you guys out there listening. This was never about really building a podcast. It was about the mission and helping people. I've scoured the internet and I don't know that there's anything truly like this anywhere out there. Which that tells me there's a necessity for it. There's a lot of self-help podcasts. There's a lot of podcasts you can go listen to for motivation. There's a lot of podcasts that you can go on there and learn things about certain topics, but there's not a whole lot of podcasts out there that you can get raw truth, raw conversation, the vulnerability that our guests display. And I think that makes this show super unique. I think it gives it the potential to grow. But none of this is even it's all a pipe dream without you guys. So season 3 coming up it's going to be really special. Lisa Tarkington's coming on for the beginning to open up the season, and already had Logan on. We discussed how he was the first podcast I was on, and then it's kind of full circle moment having Lisa on to open season 3, episode 1. And I got a ton more in store for you guys. So, I really appreciate any feedback you guys give me, because this is, we do this for you guys. You guys are the why. Really grateful for everybody out there that tunes in. I see the views sometimes on the clips and episodes, and I'm like, I don't know who all these people are, but I wish I could thank them for supporting what we're doing here. To all of our guests that we've had on, thank you for being part of this. Really grateful for you. For all of our future guests, they're on the books, they're scheduled. Looking forward to having that conversation with you. And for the people who have yet to be scheduled that are going to come on, I'm really happy that you're joining the mission too, because somebody's got to do it, right? Let's have these tough conversations. Let's help people grow. I want to thank everybody who has been there from the beginning. And I think about my grandparents, just as an example, people who supported me from the time I was born, throughout the years, and they never wavered. They never wavered their support, even in my darkest days, and they had confidence in me to become the man I am today. Unfortunately, they never got to truly see who I am while they were here, but I'm confident they're up there smiling down. Just like I'm confident that my dad, my other grandpa, you know, all these people that had supported me throughout the years really can see and be proud of me now. So podcast didn't just change my life. This podcast has been a huge component to changing me as an individual, for the better. I'm a better listener. I'm a better speaker. I'm learning, gaining knowledge from all of our guests. And my big takeaway, what I would like from everybody listening today, is I want your feedback. I want you to message me. I want you to tell me your opinion. What do you think I can do to reach a bigger audience, to make a bigger impact? Because this isn't just my show, it's ours. It's our mission. It's bigger than just one person. Love you all. I just can't put into words how grateful I am for you. Hope you continue to tune in. I hope you believe in what we're doing here and that you help us grow. And who knows, maybe you'll be on this couch next to me someday. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.